Hello and welcome to Alchemist Swim. I am Alchemist Jen. Welcome to today. It's great having you. Hope you're having a super day, whatever day it is for you. I'm happy to have you here. Today's whim of the day is to talk about the yarn I dyed last night and washed this morning. So, yes, I dyed it last night after I'd already worked a big day. And then I was like, I'm tired, I'm just gonna let it cool overnight. And then I'm like, I'm gonna wash it in the morning. And then I went to work and I'm here. So, great story. I'm so glad you got to hear that. It's so much fun. So I have the yarn, and I find it's always interesting to look at different bases and different materials to see how the dye will interact with it. Also, as a dyer showing up to the yarn and processes might show up a little bit differently depending on how we've grown or progressed in our dyeing, or just kind of whatever that whim is of the day of dyeing. So what I do with my process is I will draw like a little rectangle if I'm doing a rectangular pan, and kind of draw out where I place the dye. I also take pictures of the dye pans so that I can see what I did, and even if I follow what I've written down, or sometimes I end up with a totally different result. So same dyes, same colors, just different materials giving you different things. So not a bad thing, it's just you never know what you're gonna get with dyeing. I mean, some people have it formulated down to a T and then it's like this magical something or other, but for me I find there's a lot of surprise with it, and so being open to what that looks like is just, I think, a healthy thing to do. And then of course I'm questioning, like, well, it was a custom order. I'm like, what did I do the right thing? And I was like, I totally looked it up and I was like, I had the right thing in mind and everything. I was just panicking. I'm overreacting and overcritical of my work, and you know, I just needed to relax. So I think without saying more than that, I'm just going to show you the yarn that I dyed. So it has 2 purples and a blue. I found it really neat that one of the purples is a violet, and it kind of split a little bit, so some of the areas ended up a little bit more pink than others, so that's always fun. I like splitting dyes. And then one's a deep purple that ended up being more of a dark blue in some areas, like almost like a cobalt blue. And then I put on top of it a sea breeze blue. So that was the only real blue in the dyes, but I got very, very fascinating colors. So I want to take a look. This is only been drying, only been drying since this morning, but it's still pretty more dry than I anticipated. It's especially for a bulky yarn, so a bulky 2-ply merino superwash. We can get some good colors in there. But it's got some fascinating things going on there. I'll just scan it up real quick, see what it looks like. Hit the table and just doing a quick little twist just to kind of see a little bit what that spread looks like. Maybe that might help us a little bit, keep it in one spot. So there's really beautiful colors in there. You definitely get some of the greenish blue in there too, but super deep purples, some pink action in there occasionally. It's just really, really beautiful yarn. So this is going to be, it's custom yarn for a sweater, so I think that they'll be super pleased with how this comes out, and so that the stitches will kind of flurry through those colorways. So I think it's going to look a little bit like water or something magical, like magic water. Here's another skein just to kind of see. I pulled one from each. I did 2 pans, so I pulled one from each set. And you know, laying them out similarly, but I think that there's still some flex. I don't pre-weigh my my dyes when I'm putting them out. I just kind of kind of go for a feel. So there might be different differences in that too, which I'm totally here for. So you can see that beautiful darkness, beautiful light blue kind of coming through there. Just gorgeous. Just love all these colors. And then it kind of breaks up and goes a little lighter. Now the cool part is, like, that's the lighter pieces in this one, and the other one too a little bit, are where it was the deeper darker, the deep purple, which ended up giving me some of the dark blue. And so it's just kind of fascinating just to see. We've got some of that dark blue up top there, and then just some spread of where that went and what it stuck to. It's always interesting to see where the dye lands and where it sticks to, as far as like where the citric acid is. I pre-soaked them, so it's got a nice even layer of the citric acid, but where the dye likes to sit, and then as it's heating, it'll just kind of stay there. So some dyes spread a little differently than others. So I think in both of them, the top parts, I tied them into the same, put the ties on the same areas, even with the different batches. So I put the same dyes on top. So the top part's where the violet is, and the bottom part is where the deep purple is. So totally different feels for how the dyes came across, which is really fascinating. This one turned out, it looks more violet than the violet does. So that's fine. They're two different brand dyes as well. One I think is it's a GK dye that I got in Canada when I lived there, and then the other one is the Dharma dye. So and then the Sea Breeze Blue is a GK dye as well. So just end up with very, very beautiful colors. I think this is going to be super fantastic yarn to knit up into a beautiful sweater. So super happy. Yay for yarn. I just wanted to talk a little bit about my process, how I knew going into it and then having an expectation, but then realizing that different bases are going to totally interact with that dye very differently. So being prepared for that, but then also kind of rolling with it. And then I'll be showing the person I dyed this for, probably take some photos in the morning light after it's dried a little bit more. See what the actual color is. If it's still damp, it'll still look a little darker, but I think it's settling pretty well. I mean, right there, look at that gorgeousness. I'm excited. I just keep petting it, and it's really soft, silky yarn. So yay color. I'm excited. I think that's absolutely glorious and beautiful. So yeah, so yay for yarn. And I think that the more time I spend with it, the more I look at it, I'm just falling in love with it, and I kind of wish I could keep some for myself. Actually, I can keep 2 skeins, actually, because it's an 8 skein order. So what I'll probably do is give her first dibs, and then go from there. So yay. I love dyeing because and it's like painting in a sense, and I like the vulnerability of the colors. I mean, letting them be able to do what they're gonna do is just there's a beauty and freedom in that that I really enjoy. As someone who's previously focused a lot on painting and being very strategic about where the colors go, having that play at work is kind of fun, and accepting the vulnerability, accepting the beauty that is, rather than something that is pre-planned excessively. So maybe not even excessively. Sometimes, I mean, when I have painted, it's usually abstract, so it is, a lot of it is in the moment and trying to just interact with the colors too. So I guess it's not too different. It's just fun. I like being creative, and I like being able to share it with you. So dyeing is beautiful. I think I'm trying to think about what else I'm going to be working on this week. I do have a plan to work on some wrist kind of bracelet type things, or that can also be used as kind of things for shawls. So being able to do them, and I can't totally, I'm in the place mentally where I'm kind of needing to relax a little bit. And so like, I'm like, what is that word? A shawl cuff. That's what I got there. I figured if I talk about it enough, my brain will reorganize my thoughts to give me the words that I want. But I can use for bracelets or shawl cuffs. And I've got some dyed fabric, even the yardage behind me that's underneath the tapestry here, you know, is going to be cut up and used for other things. So I'm thinking little bracelets, shawl cuffs that'll have a snap on them, different sizes. And so it's a great way to have wearable art. I'm kind of excited about it. And then they're going to be washable as well too, which is kind of fun. So I'm working on that project, and then probably get that into a couple of shops as well. So just kind of looking at what I can do for different festivals and events that I have coming up, but then also stocking some brick and mortars where I have some things on kind of for sales for. It's a C word. It's a C word. I love my brain when I get into the zone of I'm just relaxing and then it doesn't want to fire all the way. So consignment, that's what I was thinking about. Okay, so yay for yarn, and thank you for catching up with me on that word. And it doesn't have anything to do, it's like 5 minutes later anyway. So thanks for listening to me ramble. I appreciate you. I hope you're having a super day, and we'll see where the whim takes us tomorrow. You're amazing, and yeah, keep being you because you're awesome. All right, thanks. Bye.